because this week shit's about to hit the fan.
Thursday gives me triumphant supervillain energy.
I'm somewhere else, as you can see. I've just had about an hour of really funny technical difficulties, so now I'm not using my real microphone. I'm not using my computer. I'm just shooting this on my front-facing camera. I hope the mood lighting is nice. Like this video. It helps with stuff. Let's do this. Jack Dorsey's new microblogging platform, Blue Sky, is now open to the public, so now you have somewhere else to post. The EU is setting up rules to curb abuse of spyware. So that makes me feel like it's going to be like only the government can responsibly use spyware, but that's a cynical take. And also the United States is going to restrict the visas of individuals it believes are abusing spyware. These visa restrictions also apply to organizations running spyware that it thinks is abusive or is being abused. I'm unclear about that distinction. And also investors of those platforms or softwares. Disney is partnering with Fortnite producer Epic Games to create a persistent game universe, not the metaverse. That word has been tainted. It's persistent game universe and not VR, it's spatial computing. Disney says it's a place where users can play, watch, create, shop. This will be your life moving forward. It's just play, watch, create, shop. They called it a transformative gaming and entertainment universe. Kind of interesting from a dystopian transhumanist perspective. And it also says something about how users can unleash their own creativity. That's interesting to think about, like where you live, and all you do while living is play, watch, create, shop. Play, watch, engage, shop. If you change that to engage, which is the same thing, then the meaning is a little different. Anyway, I feel like streaming services are like a baby version of this, and combining streaming services with gaming universe and spatial computing. So Disney's on top of it. The Massachusetts legislature is going to restrict VR headsets while driving. Chinese hackers Volt Typhoon have allegedly been embedded in the US for at least 5 years, focusing on abilities to pwn communications, energy, transportation, and water systems. And there's a lot of harsh Aquarius stuff this week, as we'll discuss later. According to Hugging Face, Smaug 72b is the best open source AI model in the world, or it is open source, and Hugging Face said it is the best. So the reasons it's the best is it can perform a wide array of tasks and speed and precision, and Smaug is apparently a very good listener. As a whole, it allegedly outperforms GPT, and we need open source AI language models because metaverse is our new government and our new economy, and you're going to build it. Do you get my emails? They're different from these videos. This week is a lot of harsh Aquarius energy, judgmental, driven, energetic, divisive, and indicative of the way the power structure functions moving forward for the next 20 years or so. Monday is a lot of Mars energy. The moon in Pisces pings Mars with a gentle sextile at 4:30 in the morning, so this might be a nice week to join the 5 a.m. club. 4:30 Pacific time, the moon sextiles Mars, so set your alarm. It might be a good day to wake up early, is what I'm saying. And you might want that head start on the day, on the entire week, because this week shit's about to hit the fan. Also early in the morning, the moon moves from Pisces to Mars-ruled Aries. So remember, the moon is the activator of the zodiac, and there's going to be a lot of Mars stuff this week. Also, the moon immediately sextiles Pluto. So Monday morning, early in the morning, is some foreshadowing, and if you do wake up super duper early, you might get a taste of it. Or you might get a leg up on whatever is coming. And at night, around 10 Pacific or early in the morning, Tuesday, Mars enters Aquarius. So Mars has been exalted in Capricorn for the last few weeks. which has been wonderful for everything Mars related. And Aquarius isn't bad for Mars stuff. It's not like best possible Mars that we've been having, but it's Air Mars in Aquarius is going to be concerned with the power structure still. It's a Saturn ruled sign. Rules, crowds, group activities might be contraindicated or might be just rather vigorous. So Mars in Aquarius. Saturn is a sign of judgment, and although Aquarius would be the diurnal version of Saturn, so potentially better functioning, Saturn functions better in diurnal contexts. That's daytime. Mars exalts in Capricorn, which is nighttime Saturn, and Mars does better in nocturnal contexts. This Mars, still concerned with judgment, now in Aquarius, even though Aquarius is the coldest. It's diurnal Mars, so it's a little more harsh and a little more judgmental I would say a little more heavy-handed in its judgment. And Mars in Aquarius, Mars is the planet of war. Aquarius is the collective, mass conflict narrative. And Aquarius is also systems for the public good. If you think about like Mars and Aquarius and an attack on the aqueducts, which is an attack on the people through systems for the good of the people. Aquarius is systems for the good of the people. Mars attacks. And we also have the moon applying to the North Node on Monday and Tuesday. So that's the more button. Our activator is ruled by Mars, working for Mars, and hitting the more button. So this is all very cranked up, this like conflict energy. And it's also just like raw energy. Mars doesn't have to be conflict, it could be raw energy. So you could harness that for something if you have a direction to go and you know it's the right direction. So also early Tuesday morning, late Monday night, Venus makes a sextile with Neptune. So while you're hypnotized by infinite Antiques Roadshow clips in your feed, there might be some of that residue on you when all the Mars stuff hits the fan. Venus sextiling Neptune with Mars conjoining Pluto as it does later on Tuesday gives me a sense of being caught off guard. I mean, it is Venus in Capricorn, so it's a little more practical. But maybe you're like painting your figurines all day. On Tuesday, Mars conjoins Pluto. That was a cat. Okay, so Mars conjoins Pluto. Pluto is corruption. It's also hidden things that are avoided. Pluto makes things microscopic that are significant, and it also makes mountains out of mole hills. So Mars is conflict, drive, energy. It's like when you have to roll up your sleeves and do work, like wherever Mars is in your natal chart, that's like the place where if you wanted something done right, you have to roll up your sleeves and do it yourself. So all those things. And Pluto is corruption. So we have conflict conjoining corruption. Definitely some dastardly things going on behind my back. On Wednesday, the moon moves into Taurus. On Monday and Tuesday, you have the moon in Aries kind of being Mars's hype man and getting everybody all riled up, especially with the North Node there. And also maybe like encouraging independence because we have the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. On Wednesday, the moon moves into Taurus, where it is exalted, but when the moon is exalted for the next 20 years, it's going to be squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So there's that. If you're into the timing of rituals, your exalted moon stuff is going to be kind of funny. And Taurus can't get a break ever since Uranus moved into Taurus. Exalted moon means something else. So there's like a whole generation of people who won't see like a normal exalted moon, whatever that means. There's always some astrology going on. Anyway, so Wednesday, the moon is in Taurus, and the focus will be on how the moon will be squaring Pluto in Aquarius, like needs being interrupted, or like meal times all over the place, or how like stuff about food, stuff about taking care of your body, resting. The Mars-Pluto stuff is at odds with how we take care. At the end of the day, the moon does conjoin Jupiter, so there is hope. The day can end on like maybe a triumphant note for now. I'm I'm going through this fast because I already did it once, so I hope you don't miss anything. And on Thursday, it's kind of foreshadowing for Friday when Mercury in Aquarius squares Uranus. The moon squares Mercury and conjoins Uranus. So we get a little bit of foreshadowing. And then on Friday, things become like kind of digital, more digital. We have Venus moving into Aquarius and the moon moving into Gemini. So, maybe we end up loving our dystopian robot overlords. And the moon trines Venus and trines Pluto and trines Mars. So there's some optimism in like whatever the new like Mars-Pluto situation is. On Friday we can kind of deal because we're more like, we feel more in the technology communication paradigm a little more thoroughly. And at the end of the day, Mercury squares Uranus. So some sort of like surprise or like jolt of information that feels grating or it feels difficult to get things going or something shuts down. Mercury is communication. It's like the internet. It's in Aquarius. Systems for the good of the people. Squares Uranus. It's like power too. Electrical power. Mercury and Uranus have something to do with that. This week feels like a lot of upheaval and a lot of stuff that's going to carry through the next couple decades. And on Saturday, so this is basically Friday night, on Saturday, Venus conjoins Pluto. So that could be like, it's a dangerous path to walk down, Venus with Pluto. Quite a poisonous signature. Venus and Pluto are, when Venus is not in good condition and associated with harm, poison is one of the things that she indicates, because Venus is about like things coming together. So if Venus is going to ruin something, it's because of things blending together and that being bad. And Pluto is also corruption, and it's Pluto in Aquarius. So there's something like poisonous air vibes around that. You put on the spatial computing headset to enter the persistent game universe, and you find out that it turns out the spatial computing headset is like the face-hugging alien from the Alien movies, and now you have to live your life and find empowerment, knowing that you're always connected to the face-hugging parasitic alien from the Alien movies. Sometimes my own astrology creeps me out. Anyway, on Sunday we have some beneficial trines. We do have the moon squaring Neptune, so it gives me a sense of like disorientation feeling, but also the moon trines Mercury and the moon trines the sun. So moon trining Mercury, maybe it's like a sense-making feeling, maybe we can like get some useful information. And in the evening, the moon trines the sun. We have a like one hand can know what the other hand is doing. And at the end of the day, in the evening/night, the moon moves into Cancer and the sun moves into Pisces. So we get the moon is in domicile in Cancer. It's no longer opposing Mars. Now instead, when the moon's exalted, it will be squaring Mars and Pluto. So the moon's moving through Cancer, the first time in a little while that it hasn't been opposing Mars, although I found that pretty beneficial and like a helpful driving force. And the sun in Pisces. We have more of like an emotional connection, whether that's like a creative emotional connection with the fabric of reality that helps us find meaning in whatever our situation is, and the one-on-one emotional connections that come with how we take care of each other. And so that'll go into next week, where we have like some water energy for once, because this week is a lot of earth and air kicking up dust and fracturing like fault lines. So I forgot to talk about the calendar. I don't have the calendar with me because I'm somewhere else, but get the calendar. You still have 10 months of precise astrological data at a glance. Like this video. Liking this video will be a legacy that you pass on to your children's children. I have another project called Beauty Grease, where I wrote a document called Skincare Zodiac, which is there are 12 signs in the Zodiac. It's skincare strategies for all 12 signs, and it's very, very, very nerdy. I meant to write them as quick PDFs, and then it took me several months to write them, and they barely scratched the surface of what I'd like to include, but they're still very lengthy and very nerdy. Do you get my emails? They're different from these videos. Remember, your Wi-Fi is a camera that can see through walls.